DidikTV KPM.
Hai semua, salam sejahtera. Assalamualaikum. Anda sedang menonton Road to Success STPM 2020 di mana hari ini kita nak berkongsi tips dan sedikit petua saat akhir pecutan untuk rakan-rakan yang mengambil kertas peperiksaan biologi khususnya. Sebelum itu, hai Assalamualaikum. Nama saya Nisa, hos anda pada hari ini, dan Nisa nak ingatkan agar kekal menjaga SOP kerana kita belum menang dalam melawan COVID-19. Haruslah memakai pelitup muka di mana saja anda berada di tempat awam dan jaga penjarakan sosial sekurang-kurangnya 1 meter. Kerap cuci tangan anda menggunakan air dan sabun serta sanitasi tangan anda apabila perlu. Nisa ada sebut tadi berkenaan dengan kertas peperiksaan biologi yang akan berlangsung pada esok hari 7 hari bulan April 2021, kurang daripada 24 jam rakan-rakan calon-calon STPM 2020 akan menduduki peperiksaan ini dan mereka ada waktu yang selama 1 jam ini untuk mengumpul segala informasi dan tips yang akan kita kongsikan sepanjang 1 jam bersiaran. Siapa agaknya guru yang akan bersama-sama dengan kita pada hari ini? Jom kita saksikan profil beliau. Mari kawan-kawan kita mempersilakan Dr. Kwan dari SMK Vivekananda Kuala Lumpur. Apa khabar doktor?
Okey, khabar baik.
Macam mana doktor esok anak-anak murid akan mengambil peperiksaan ini? Perasaan doktor?
Saya lebih gelisah daripada mereka, saya rasa.
Saya rasa macam itulah. Kalau
Ya,
guru-guru
betul.
di seluruh Malaysia, kalau anak-anak muridnya yang nak ambil peperiksaan, mereka yang lebih gementar dan juga lebih berdebar, orang kata. Baiklah doktor, sebelum itu jom kita ke sana untuk kita sanitasi tangan kita sebelum kita mulakan episod kita pada hari ini.
Okay,
silakan
baik.
doktor. Ya. Baiklah. Sekiranya anda sudah berada di dalam kawasan yang selamat dan anda perlu membuka topeng muka anda, jangan lupa untuk simpan di bekas yang ditetapkan. Contohnya macam doktor ada poket plastik, macam Nisa ada bekas yang macam ni, boleh simpan supaya boleh kekal menjaga kebersihan topeng muka anda dan boleh digunakan kembali sekiranya ia masih bersih. Jangan melebihi penggunaan selama 8 jam. Kalau boleh kan doktor, bawa topeng muka lebih supaya kita dapat menukar pelitup muka kita apabila ianya sudah pun kotor. Kita tak naklah pakai pelitup muka yang telah tercemar. Baiklah, hari ini apa yang kita akan kongsikan, saya kira pecutan akhir ni doktor. Mungkin ada sedikit tips apa yang kita nak kongsikan untuk anak-anak murid kita?
Sebenarnya dalam 24 jam ni memang susah kita nak last minute preparation. So normally we will ask the students to actually stay properly at home, do something which is normal, don't do anything abnormal. And also you have to make sure that you can go to exam tomorrow.
Baiklah. Yes. Saya kira rakan-rakan di rumah yang mengambil peperiksaan ini juga telah bersedia di hadapan kaca TV masing-masing untuk mengambil segala input. Orang kata apa, pecutan, last minute preparation for them to do within this 24 hours. Yang penting waktu malam nanti tidur awal. Tidur awal. You must sleep early so that tomorrow you will get all the energy to actually answer the question.
Yes,
baiklah. Sebelum itu kita ada sebuah video khas untuk dipertontonkan. Jom kita saksikan video pandangan calon berkenaan subjek ini.
DidikTV KPM.
So the way I do it is that I always make sure that I have more than one reference book, because I think it's extremely important for us to have multiple resources for information. And I also think it's very important for us to learn how to utilize the internet to do our own research when we don't understand something. So yeah, that's basically how I study biology.
When it comes to examination, I always go for 3 easy steps. First of all, I'll prepare my own notes. Second, I will clarify all my doubts to teachers. Third, whatever I'm studying in bio, I always relate that and apply it to my surroundings. So this makes me to understand really well and clear. This is how I get well prepared for my bio. So let's see how yours.
DidikTV KPM.
Baiklah, itu sedikit perkongsian daripada calon-calon STPM 2020 untuk subjek biologi. Dr. Kwan, one of them said that he has more than one reference book to make sure that he understand, and the other friend said that he has 3 easy steps, which is, I think, it is a very interesting steps to do, which is he do his own notes, he will apply in his life, and the other one is, I think he said that he will do some of the activities to understand more. I think, do you think that this can be applied to all other students too?
Yes, actually, when you are preparing for your exams, and also when you are actually what we call it, doing your study, you need to do your own notes.
Yes.
So when you are doing your own notes, you actually make yourself more aware of what you are studying. And at the last minute, especially at this moment, within 24 hours, actually you have no more time to read your textbook. You have no more time for your reference book. Don't think that you can cover everything in 24 hours. The syllabus is so huge. Okay, so what they need to do is, during daily learning process, is actually they have to prepare, students, you have to prepare your own notes so that when you are doing your revision, everything that you understood, you already write down in a way that you can help yourself to understand it better after that. Yeah, that is, I would say, the students that shows in the video, he has already done very good process along the years to get himself prepared for the exams, that he prepared his own notes. That is a very good and very important step.
Yes, and I hope the other students are also prepared for tomorrow's examination, and we will take a break for a little bit before we proceed with our lesson for today. But before that, we will leave you with special speech by our teachers, so don't go anywhere. I'll see you guys after this.
DidikTV KPM. DidikTV KPM.
Kembali menonton Road to Success STPM 2020. Sebentar tadi kita telah lihat ucapan khas daripada murid kepada guru-guru bersempena dengan kempen hashtag Terima Kasih Cikgu dengan nyanyian lagu yang merdu, dan juga kita turut menerima kad ucapan kreatif daripada murid-murid seluruh Malaysia. Nisa akan pilih salah satu untuk kita kongsikan bersempena dengan penghargaan kepada guru-guru di Malaysia hashtag Terima Kasih Cikgu. Yang ini bentuknya seperti jambak bunga menggunakan daun pandan kering sebagai bunga, sangat-sangat kreatif. Kalau terbalikkan nampak macam bentuk payung pun ada ni. Wah, dan di dalamnya ada ucapan sangat kreatif. Terima kasih cikgu. I love teacher. Terima kasih kepada adik Diksha dari SJKT Rawang. Saya tunjukkan kepada anda semua, dan di hadapan ni begini. Ya, terima kasih sekali lagi kepada semua yang telah menghantar ucapan juga kad ucapan kepada kami secara digital dan juga secara fizikal bersempena dengan kempen hashtag Terima Kasih Cikgu. Baiklah, kita teruskan pembelajaran kita, tetapi sebelum tu, Dr. I'm not alone. I will definitely bring my friends with me to actually gather all the information and input needed to prepare, last minute prepare for STPM 2020 Biologi pada esok hari 7 April. Baiklah, saya ingin mempersilakan rakan-rakan dari SMK Vivekananda Brickfield Kuala Lumpur. Hello, hi semua. Hi. How are you guys? You can actually turn on the mic for a bit. How are you guys doing?
Fine.
You great? Fine. How about tomorrow? Esok dah nak paper ni, macam mana kawan-kawan?
Nervous.
Nervous. Are you guys ready?
Berpeluh dah.
Berpeluh dah. Semua dah berpeluh. Tapi esok jangan berpeluh je, tangan banyak nak menulis tu esok. Baiklah. We will get our friends here to introduce themselves. Let's start with Ivana. Silakan.
Salam sejahtera. Nama saya Ivana James dari SMK Vivekananda.
Baik, terima kasih. Seterusnya, Barat, silakan.
Salam sejahtera, nama saya Badan Saravanan dari Sekolah SMK Vivekananda.
Terima kasih. Daniel.
Salam sejahtera, saya Daniel Kwang Jun dari Victoria Institution.
Baik, terima kasih. Joanne, silakan.
Salam sejahtera, nama saya Joanne dari SMK Vivekananda.
Baik. Kita ada siapa tu? Sumina, silakan.
Selamat sejahtera, nama saya Mardiana dari SMK Vivekananda.
Ya, siapa namanya tadi? Maaf, mungkin di situ nama ibunya ya?
Ya.
Ya. Nama siapa tadi?
Mardiana.
Mardiana. Ya, terima kasih. Seterusnya, yang terakhir sekali, siapa rakan kita?
Salam sejahtera, nama saya Nur Syamila Alia daripada Sekolah Vivekananda.
Baik, terima kasih. Jadi di sini kita bukan saja ada rakan-rakan dari SMK Vivekananda, kita ada juga rakan dari Victoria Institution. Ya, baiklah, saya harap anda semua sudah bersedia. Our friends at home, please be ready with your pen and also paper to actually jot down everything Dr. Kwan will share. Ayo Dr. Kwan, kita mulakan. Sila.
Okay. Hi students. What do you want to know about your preparation within 24 hours? Are you ready?
Yes, teacher.
Are you ready? You are ready, right? So actually what I want you to know is within 24 hours, what you need to do. Okay? Normally within the 24 hours, you cannot prepare a lot. All right? So you just act normal. Do not do anything that which is abnormal. All right? So when like anything that abnormal which you didn't do daily, don't do it. Okay? And at this moment also, you don't go out to lepak, go to mama's store and so on and so forth, so that you can stay at home as much as possible, as well as to get all your tools ready. What are all the tools that you need? Your pen, pencil, eraser, ruler, and your calculator. Make sure your calculator is functioning, because all this year you have been using the same calculator, and the calculator may have run out of battery and so on and so forth. So at the last minute, you don't want it to be malfunction and it jeopardize your performance because of that. Okay? And most importantly, the last tips, which is you have to make sure that you can go to exam tomorrow. Okay, the final thing we want you to do is go to exam tomorrow. All right? So are you ready to go to exam tomorrow?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Okay.
We can see that they are very nervous.
Yeah, they are very nervous. But same to me, I'm very nervous for you all as well, because tomorrow I have to be on duty with them. When they are having exams, I will be sitting there and see if they are doing things, but I'm doing things at my office, and I have to be worried about them, how their performance and so on and so forth, how can are they able to answer the questions and so on and so forth. So equally, teachers are worried every year with the students. Okay,
All right.
well, we go for section A. Are you all ready? Do you know how to answer section A? All right. So look at question in section A. Basically, question A, there are actually 15 questions there. And each of the questions will bear you 1 mark. So total, there will be 15 marks there. All right. My advice to all of you in the, what we call it, on the Google Meet as well as at home, that you actually spend as least amount of time at this section as possible. So the maximum that you can spend is only 1 minute per question. Why? Because it takes you about 15 minutes if you spend 1 minute per question here. Okay? And the best way for you to actually make sure you can finish it within 1 minute, one of the way that you should do is you cross out the wrong answer. So cross out the wrong answer is one of the easiest method for you to minimize the time that you have to spend in the question. So first of all, let's say we look at this question. The question says that which of the following are true of an ecosystem? So there are 4 statements over here. So what are you going to look at? There are some keynotes here, true statement. So you look at the first sentence. Phytoplanktons are producers. Is it true?
Yes.
Yes, this is a true statement, right? Correct or not? So if this is a true statement, then you look at here. Okay, how come my answer came out? Okay, if you look at the answer here, then you will know that B and D already out. Correct or not? Left view, A and C. So with this one, you eliminate these 2, cross out the wrong answer. What you need to do is, what actually you did is, you increase the possibility of you getting the correct answers. From getting only 25% of correct answers, now you actually increase the percentage of it to get 50%.
Yes.
Correct. So then you look at it, 2, 3, 4. one pair with 2, one pair with 3 and 4. So you look at statement number 2 to make it easy for you to choose the answers. Correct? Not? So when you look at statement number 2, the last consumer obtains the highest energy. Is it a true statement?
Is it true or wrong statement? No.
Shaking your head means what?
False.
It is a false statement, correct? Not? So
false
if,
statement, yes.
Yeah, if it is a false statement, that means the question asking for true statement. That means answer left only?
Number
sorry.
C.
C.
Yes.
So by crossing out the answer which is wrong, then you are actually increasing the possibility of you getting a correct answers. Okay, so this is how you actually reduce the time of you spending on one question. So this is one of the very effective way that you people have to learn and apply it tomorrow.
Okay,
Right.
Dr. Kwan, I have a question.
Yes.
I think this situation will be tend to happen to students, or I think not only in STPM, maybe in SPM, maybe when I was answering my biology question, it happened. When we see all the statements, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they might have some confusion whether it's true or not. So they are left with only 2 answers. So what to do at that very point?
Okay. Very good questions. Because sometimes it's really difficult for you to actually differentiate which one is true, which one is false.
Yes.
But that I would say it depends on your hard work. I always say that smart work comes after hard work. Without any hard work, you didn't what we call it, equip yourself with enough of knowledge about biology, then I couldn't help you. Okay, so that's why over the years of preparations, you have about 18 months of preparing for your STPM. This year, you guys are lucky because you spent longer than that because of the COVID-19. You have the longest time for preparation. Okay, during the preparation time, you have to make sure your knowledge about the facts knowledge is already consolidated. So when you left out with 2 statements, which is very difficult for you to choose, it actually very much depends on your preparation of your facts. Yeah, that is what I could say. But by doing what I showed you just now, you increase the possibility of you getting the correct answers.
All right,
That is what working smart.
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
But you have to come after working hard.
Yes. All right.
All right, get it?
Okay.
Yeah, very good. All right, we look into the next question, next tips for you. So you have to be careful of some tricky words. So like just now, we have true statements. Sometimes it comes up with false statement. And sometimes they ask you for accept or not. So you have to be very careful about the words that is appeared in the questions so that you choose the answers correctly. All right. And third one is sequencing. So how can you tackle questions with sequencing? So I give you a very simple example over here. Let's say the question asks you the following steps are involved in genetic engineering. Rearrange them into the correct sequence. Normally what the students will do, they will read statement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they try to rearrange and then get the answer 1, 2, 3, which one is number 1 statement, which one is number 2 statement, and so on and so forth. And then they compare their sequence with the answer. But now I'd like you to look at the answer. The first sequence in the answer is what? 1 and 4.
Yeah, 1 and 4.
Correct not? It gives you only 1 and 4. So that means you are actually choosing statement
either statement 1 or either statement 4
as the first step. Okay? So if you look at the first step, cleave the plasmid and the human DNA with the same restriction enzyme. Which one is the first step? Fourth statement says, isolate the bacterial plasmid and human DNA. So obviously, if your factual knowledge is good, you know that isolate the bacterial plasmid has to be the first one. So when it is the first one, that means which option you choose?
Only B or C.
Yes, very good. Yeah, our host can actually score biology already tomorrow. We give you a paper tomorrow. Okay, so you left only B and C to choose. When you look at B and C, that means you study the answer again. 1, 3, 1, 3, the same. Left only 2 and 5. Statement number 2 and statement number 5. So you look at it, statement number 2, statement number 5. Statement number 2 is screen for bacteria that contain recombinant DNA. Statement number 5 is transformation. So which one is the last step? Normally to look for the DNA which is already recombined into the bacteria is the last step. We want to screen it, we want to know that that is the bacteria that we want to select for. So, which answer?
C.
C, correct, you score.
We will score it together, our friends. Don't worry.
So answer is C. So it makes it very simple for you when you do your sequencing in such a way. You don't arrange it one by one, okay, so statement number 1, statement number 2, and then so on and so forth. So you look at the answer and you get the sequencing in according to the answer. Is it okay to you?
All right. I guess follow.
Can follow?
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Anything else you want to ask about section A?
Anyone have any question? This is the final moment or chance for you to ask Dr. Kwan.
Are you all right with that? With the 2 tips, I'm sure you can actually increase the possibility of you getting the correct answers in your paper section A.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's proceed to section B. Section B actually consists of 2 questions, question 16 and also questions 17. So there are 2 questions. Total marks of the question is actually 15 marks. Okay, so it actually separated into 7 marks or 8 marks per questions. All right. So my advice is you spend about 15 minutes for this session, not more than that, and try to do it as fast as possible. Okay, and you have to take note of the instructions or the keywords that given in this section to indicate or to identify what kind of how long your answers you have to put in, okay, and how what kind of answers you have to put in, and to what length. All right, are you following? Fine, good.
They are very focused, Doctor.
Okay, so the keywords there are 2 types of keywords. Some of the keywords indicating a long answer, a longer answer. Some may be indicating for a shorter answers. So the keywords that asking for a longer answer will be define, explain, discuss, give reasons. So these are actually by nature, you know that they want you to explain, you need to explain in a longer sentences. Okay? Or when they ask you to state or name, then you actually give particular, precise answer to what they ask for. Okay? So this, when you are stating or you are naming, you actually have to put it in a very accurate manner. If it is a name of certain chemical things, if you say carbon dioxide, you cannot put CO2. You have to put carbon dioxide and spell the carbon dioxide properly. Okay? If anything mistake in your spelling, you may get penalized and you won't get the marks, because this one will be only one mark. If you have wrong, then that means you are wrong. All right. Another tips for this to know how long you want to answer, it depends on the marks and also on the space provided. In your exam paper, when you get your exam paper, every questions for section B, there will be lines in between or below the questions to indicate actually how long the answers you need to put in. For example, questions like this. Define. There are 2 types of, not 2 types, 2 questions which are the same types. Okay? So define ecosystem. If this is 2 marks and you see that the space given is 3 lines, sometimes it goes to 4 lines. That means you can explain a little bit longer. Whereby this one only 1 mark, and sometimes they won't give you 2 lines. Sometimes they will give you only 1 line. Then it indicates that the answer is actually shorter. So what are you going to do? Normally 2 marks means 2 points. All right? Don't do that more than that. And every time stick to the protocol that one sentence, 1 point. And the sentence has to be complete sentence. All right, so for example, then you put ecosystem is a system that consists of abiotic and biotic components in a community. And then next point, the biotic components interact with each other and also with the abiotic components in the ecosystem. You get 2 points in 2 sentences. All right, whereby when they ask you to define Mendel's second law, and it's given only 1 mark. So what you need to do is you just tell us what Mendel's law is without further explanation on that. So you just put...
Just the definition.
Yes, that's all. Just like this. It will be precise because it's only 1 mark. All right, are you guys okay? Get it? Good.
Double thumbs up.
Double thumbs up. Okay, so let's say this question. This question is actually asking for a short answers, very short and precise answer. Although the question seems long because it has to describe the situation. Okay, so you read the whole thing. Okay, the study of a fish population in a pond was carried out. On the first day, a total of 80 fish were caught with a fish net, marked and then released. Then after 3 days, the fish net was used again. There were 20 marked ones out of a total 90 caught. So name the method used in the study. So name. So when it is named and it is only 1 mark, okay, you don't need 2 lines actually. Even the questions given you 2 lines, you answer within the space, you just need 1 answer there. Name the method. Name the method. Capture, mark, recapture. That's all. Don't put another, okay? And then the second question asks you, if a new study is carried out after 2 months, give a factor. Give a factor. Which would affect the size of the fish population in the pond. You just give a factor. If you know that actually it's more than 1 factors to which will affect the populations of the pond, okay? So you just give 1. You can put immigrations, you can put presence of diseases, you can put predators, presence of predators, but choose 1 only because only 1 mark. The more you put, once you get 1 wrong, sorry, you lost your mark.
I was about to ask that. What happens when we answer more than 1? You know,
Yes.
the question only need 1 answer.
Yeah, so don't do more than that because they need 1. All right. Any problem with that? So with this, I hope you can actually get the the tips how to do that. All right. Second tips on this section B would be you have to look out for the depending questions. So that means, what kind of question is that? It means that your part B answer depending on your previous question, your part A questions answers. Okay, for example here, there are part 1, A1 and A2. So suggest a suitable method which can be used to mark the specimens. Okay, then number 2 actually depends on the answers that you put at A1. It gives a reason for your answer. Does mean give a reason on this. So, budak-budak semua, pandai-pandai, pilih apa yang kamu boleh jawab di sini. You don't choose an answer at part A, which you don't know the answer at part B. So think of an answer which you can give the reason. So you can choose, for example, if you put, attach a small metal at the operculum. If you choose this, that means at the answer here, you have to give a very answer which is related to your previous answer. Okay, so you can say that so that the observer can trace the movement without interruptions to the specimens. Okay, the life of the fish or whatever it is. Or if you choose another type, you can choose another, another examples. Let's say you mark a mark on the tail fin. Okay, you mark a mark on the fish tail fin, then you give an answer which is actually related to your answer. which is it will be not observant to the predator. So the predator will not be able to eat it up so that you can study on it later on. So this is basically the sections that we can we do for scoring in section B. All right. The extra tips for you to actually score in section B is that you have to complete your answer in only one language. The questions given to you is one page English, another page BM, Malay. So you choose. You choose either you want to do it in English or you want to do it in Malay. The, what we call it, one of the accepted way is you finish one question in English, you finish another one in BM, still acceptable. What is never acceptable is within a question you answer in two languages. And the worst is within a sentence you interacting with two, you put down answers in two languages. That one is not acceptable. And then you have to spell the name properly. For section B, you have to put in complete spelling. You do not put ATP, but you put adenosine triphosphate. You did not put O2 or CO2, but you put the complete, what we call it, complete words that you use, which is oxygen, or you put carbon dioxide, you spell the carbon dioxide completely. All right? Is it okay to you?
Everybody clear?
All right. Is there any extra
Teacher?
questions?
Yes.
I have question.
Yeah.
What about section C? Do we apply the same principle in answering section B in section C?
Okay, to look into question C's, shall we come after the advertisement that we go for section C?
I guess they are so excited to know more about the tips, about the section C and moving forward from there. But I have a question for the students. Can I ask questions? It seems that they are very focused, like, I'm going to tackle this. Bharat said he prepared his own notes and whatnot. How about the other students? Can you share me at least your own tips on how to tackle this subject? And anyone want to? Daniel, can you share with us? What do you do for the past, I don't know, this 1 week or 2 weeks? How you study? You can turn on your mic, Daniel. Turn on the microphone. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
All right, it's okay.
So what do? Is I do not study last minute, and I will memorize whatever I wanted to memorize, like 1 month or 2 months before the exam.
Okay.
So I actually have time to re-memorize back, to refresh back my own memory, so that I don't ever forget ever the fact. Yeah.
Yes, memorize within 1 or 2 months before the examination, not on the night of the examination. Do not memorize everything tonight, because the students tend to forget if they try to memorize everything at the very last minute.
Through my experience, we cannot, at least me, cannot memorize things at the last minute. You can ask my students, every time they tell me something last minute, I will forget on the second minute. Okay, so I would advise that it is true, like what Daniel has said, you have to prepare every day. Okay, that means if you are in SEM 1 and you are watching this, from now on, or you are SEM 2, SEM 1 still not coming in yet for this year, if you are in SEM 2, then you have to actually start doing your own notes. Okay, and actually you need to start looking at more books. Okay, not confine yourself into only one book that you are reading. You have to read more. And nowadays we have a lot of these internet and also Google search and so on. You actually can find a lot of facts, and you can actually learn from different sources, and you combine all the knowledge that you had and put it in your own notes. That is the way you need to learn. For example, some of the terms, if you are not familiar with, you need to actually get yourself exposed to more of it. The more you expose yourself to it, the better you learn. Okay, that is what my advice for you for the preparation journey.
All right. Dr. Kwan, the student have to spell the name properly for the answer. They cannot use the ATP or O2. Yes. But there are some students who tend to spell it wrongly. How do you share some? Maybe you can share some tips on how to actually remember the name, the full name. I mean, terms in biology or chemistry or physics can be very confusing.
Okay, bear in mind, all teachers are very, what we call it, kind, patient, full of passions and compassions. They will not penalize you for, let's say, adenosine triphosphate. You forgot about one E. Sometimes we just blind our eyes. Okay lah, apa? Betul. Okay. But if you spell cancer, C-A-N-C-E-R, to become C-A-N-C-E-L, which is totally giving you a different meaning, then I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, we cannot give you any marks on that. So minor, simple, what we call it, spelling, for example, oxygen, suddenly you put I here. Alah, bye. Okay, tak apa. Still sound okay. Sometimes we will give you marks. Okay, so that is still acceptable in that sense.
But it is better for you guys to actually prepare and read all the names so you can spell it correctly, confidently.
Yes.
I would like to ask maybe Ivana. Like, this is just an easy question. Don't worry, I won't be asking about biology because I might be forget whatever I've learned back way in 2008. Okay, Ivana, can you share with us what is your favorite topics in biology?
To say that my favorite topic will be respiration because it's very interesting. It has a lot of, as we go in deeper to learn, there are a lot of names and new processes that we learn. So it's very, how to say, especially learning in semester 3 is very interesting.
Okay.
And I feel like I expand my knowledge in many ways, especially learning in biology, because biology is one of my favorite subjects.
Wow.
So learning in like respiration about plants and human bodies is definitely very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ivana, for sharing. I guess this is the time where we take a break. Dr. Kwan, I think I need some water because I feel very dry over here because I'm so excited for them, for tomorrow's paper. I'll see you guys after this. Don't go anywhere.
Yep.
DidikTV KPM. DidikTV KPM.
Kembali menonton Road to Success STPM 2020 for our friends who are sitting biology paper tomorrow on 7 April. Don't forget that this is the last chance for you guys to actually gather all the tips shared by Dr. Kwan. But before that, we would like to show you guys an e-card we accept from our students all over Malaysia. We can see on the screen. Wow! This is a very beautiful e-card. I guess the student drew this by him or herself. Hashtag terima kasih cikgu. Kempen ini sebenarnya untuk berkongsi dengan anda semua penghargaan kepada semua guru-guru di Malaysia berkenaan dengan maklumlah suasana pandemik ni masing-masing took a greater challenge to make sure all of our students tetap pada jalan pembelajaran masing-masing. Baiklah, kita akan bersambung kepada tips yang seterusnya. Dr. Kwan will be sharing tips for section C, how to score section C. Our friends asked this question just now, so let's see.
Yep. For section C, there is actually 3 questions. Okay, each question will give you 15 marks. You can choose from the 3 questions, you answer only 2 questions. So how can you do the choosing? First of all, you have to actually draft out the answers. Look at the 3 questions as fast as possible, okay, and draft it out. That's why I would advise you in the first 2 sections, section A and B, you complete it as fast as possible. Then you save more time for you to do your section C, because section C has comprised of actually 30 marks out of your paper. All right. So you draft out the answer according to the questions. 3 questions or so, you draft it out and try to choose the best 2 answers that you can provide. So you can make sure that you maximize the scoring of your section C. So the most important thing is after you have chosen the questions, you have to organize your answer. Why? Because most of the time that I found, what my student did is, their answer is everywhere, which I don't know where to find the answers. So you have to organize your answer so that it makes it like a story which people would like to learn and which people would like to read further on. So for example, how to organize your answer. So let's say this question. State the differences between continuous and discontinuous variation. So you organize it. First method, I would say you organize it by putting 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Okay? You organize your statement precisely into numbers. This one is not point form. This one is organizing your answers. Points form is when you give your answer incomplete sentence. The sentence is not complete. Okay? If you put it in a complete sentences, it is not a point form. You are actually arranging your answers and organizing your answers for better reading, as well as for yourself, better, what we call it, organizing of your mind and so on and so forth. So you have to complete it. Continuous variation is quantitative, whereby this continuous variation is qualitative. Comparing apple to apple. 1 to 1.
Yeah.
Continuous variation is affected by environmental factors, then discontinuous is not affected. Straight away, this is the difference. You cannot put the answers, for example, continuous variation is quantitative and affected by environmental factors. Then second sentence, you put discontinuous variation is quantitative and it is not affected by environmental factors. That is not differences because you didn't show any comparison between the two. You are just showing the characteristic of continuous variation and discontinuous variation. So bear in mind.
Yeah, Dr. Kwan, I guess our friend over here have a question to ask. Bharat,
Yes.
what do you want to ask?
Teacher, I have a question. So can I answer the question by writing all about the continuous variation, then I write about the discontinuous variation? Can I?
Yeah, that's why just now I just said that you cannot do that. Okay, you have to make sure you compare it, apple to apple. So if you just put down what continuous variation is and what discontinuous variation is, that is you are stating the characteristic of the two. You are not actually doing the differences. That means you are not actually comparing the two things that the questions ask you to compare. All right. This is the first method that I showed you. That means you list it down in sentences, and you have to make sure the sentences is actually comparing apple to apple. All right. Second method that I'm showing you to answer this kind of question is by putting it into table. Putting it into table doesn't mean that you can put it in point form. Still have to have complete sentences. Okay? So you separate your tables into continuous variable and then discontinuous variable. To put it into a table like this is just for you to, what we call it, to organize your answer better. Because you need to fill this up and fill this up. You won't get missed. Okay, you won't miss out any of the points. So still the same thing, continuous variable, variation, sorry, this is a wrong. Continuous variation is quantitative, and then discontinuous variation is qualitative. All right, so then you can continue. It is affected by environmental factors, then it is not affected by environmental factors. So you still need to put it into a complete sentence. Never have any sentences which is incomplete. That is what the key things that you have to know by answering the questions. Most importantly, why you want to do this is for you to organize your answer in a more presentable manner. Easy for you to look at, easy for the examiners to mark it as well. Okay? All right. For, let's say, another type of questions, describe how the size of the populations of mouse deer in a tropical rainforest can be estimated. So to answer these kinds of questions, I would say you can always choose to use diagrams to help you in organizing your answer. Always try to use diagram to organize your answer. Why? Because if you do not know how to actually put it in a sequence to explain how the things is, you refer back to your diagram. But always bear in mind, the diagram alone, if you put in the diagram alone, you will get 0 marks because you have to write it down.
Yes.
Okay, by diagram alone, it cannot be your answer alone. Okay, so for example, what you need to do, the method is actually, the sequence is you catch it, you mark it, you release it, and then you recapture it. This is your steps. Okay, so now you put all the steps that you have already identified in a flow chart like this. Okay, what you need to do is you just have to put this, what we call it, the things that you identify in the flow chart or the flow map into sentences. So you organize or you write the sentences according to what you have put in the diagram. So for example, you put it in this way. So first of all, they ask you how it is, so you have to choose a method. So the populations of mouse deer in the tropical rainforest can be estimated by using state the method. Capture, mark, and recapture method. Then you start with the first step, capture. Explain it step by step. First of all, traps are set at the respective location to capture the animal. Once the animals are captured, what you do? Mark it. So you follow step by step so that your answer is organized, your flow of thought is organized. When the reader read your products of your writing, they are organized as well. They can follow the flow. Okay? So once the animals are captured, they are marked. Then, with non-toxic and insoluble ink on their feet. So what they are doing is you can put in more information at the second step. Can you see that? How you mark it? How you mark it? You are using non-toxic ink and also insoluble ink. You can further describe it as well. You can further tell us why you want to use a non-toxic ink and why you want to use insoluble ink. So you add in more points here. After that, you will not forget because you will not forget what step, the next step is what? Because you can refer back to the flow chart and you know the following step will be release it. So you have said, finally, after marking the animals, then we have to release the animal back to the environment, to the community to mingle around. Then, why? You have to, after few months or few weeks, you have to recapture it for the second time. So you follow it in a sequence. Yes, Bharatan, any questions?
No, let's say, by doing like this, by drawing like this diagram, don't we take too long by finishing the essay? Because teachers say they won't give marks for the diagram, so they will only need words. So won't they take too long to doing the diagram and the words?
Okay, thank you for the questions. First of all, I have to say that I'm not your art teacher. We are doing biology diagram. So do it as simple as possible. So that's why I'm not giving you a Picasso kind of products here. I'm just giving you a box and the what we call it and the words there. So make the diagram as simple as possible. So for example, if you need to draw a cell or something like that, how to make your drawing fast is you practice it daily. Okay? That's why during lessons, I always ask you all to draw the diagram. When you are explaining and you are doing your notes and you are actually drawing the diagram a few times, when come to exams, you are actually able to draw the things very fast. Okay? So that is how you prepare yourself. All right. Instead of doing it in paragraph like this, there is another way to organize your answer. You organize it into sentences with numbers, or you just put a dash, dash like that also can. I'm exactly changing this, what we call it?
The text.
This sentence, all the sentences over here, the text there, into this. So you still do the same thing, but you organize it one point at one time. So this is the way where you can actually organize your answer and organize your thought. Always remember to read back your own writing. When you read back your own writing, you understood it. I guarantee you 90% the examiners also understand what you are writing. But when you read your text and you don't understand it, I'm so sorry, most of the time the examiner also won't understand what you want to write. So that is the way that you re-look into it. Is there any problem? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
All right. So the tips that you need to actually master for section C is that you have to organize your answer. Make it easy to read. Try to make the answers presentable and write it properly so that the examiners can follow the thought of your mind, then they can actually reasonize how you reasonize the answer. Okay, that is a very important thing. Use diagram to help you if you need to. If the question says that explain with diagram, then you must have a diagram.
Yes.
If the questions don't say that, that's mean you can use the diagram to help you, but the diagram will not give you marks. You cannot make the diagram as the answer. You can put the diagram there to help you to organize your answer. Okay, write a complete story as if your teacher don't understand anything, don't know anything. Yes, because we want to know what you want to, you know. If you assume that I know and you don't put it in, I'm so sorry because we don't know that you know. Okay? So spend not more than 20 minutes per questions. Write fast, but neatly. Sorry for those who have bad handwriting. Please learn how to write properly. Okay? You have to write fast and try to, what we call it, earn some time from section A and B so that you can spend more time in organizing your section C. All right? So I think that is what I need to talk to you for section C. Anything else you want to ask? Yes?
Yes, Joanne?
Joanne?
Teacher, is there any advice for us to score well in biology paper?
Oh, everyone definitely wants an A+.
Okay, so as I say, at the very last moment like this, just within 24 hours, the most important thing is you make sure you can go to school tomorrow. Okay? I'm sure that, what we call it, almost 99.9% is already done because you have already prepared more than a year for your exams. That is where you are. All right? So this is the 24 hours what you need to do. If you have already done your notes, that is an advantage of you. Read your notes. Just flip through, get all the points or some of the images imprinted and refresh your memory. Okay? Then, if you really got extra time and you don't want to waste your time by sitting down and relaxing and so on, just relax your mind because the more you relax, the more you get anxious. Then try to read the questions, get some of the past year questions, as well as get some of the, what we call it, a lot of publishers actually come up with a lot of sample questions. Then you check the answer. Read the questions, read the answers. Read the questions, read the answers. See how the answers is presented, okay? And then, most importantly, sleep early, eat properly, okay? Just do whatever you do normally, okay? Get enough of sleep, wake up fresh tomorrow, and then go for exams. Yes. Go earlier to school. If exams start at 11, right, tomorrow, go to school at least by 10 o'clock, get yourself settled down, quiet down, relax, and just, if you don't want to talk to your friends, don't bother about your friends, just sit there and then be yourself and quiet and make sure all your tools are with you, pen, pencil, eraser, ruler, calculator that you need. You are not allowed to use correcting tapes and liquid paper or something like that, correcting liquid. So you don't bring that one, it's fine, but make sure your pen, pencil, erasers is more than one. Make sure you prepare for that.
All right. Dr. Kwan, as the students are not allowed to bring any liquid papers, if they want to cancel the answer that they don't want, they can just cross out.
Just cancel like this.
Cancel the question.
I cancel in one line enough, yeah?
One line.
Don't cancel like this. Don't cancel like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, students, do you have one last question for Dr. Kwan? You guys are going to sit for this exam less than 24 hours. Everything is okay? I guess they are very much ready. Double thumbs up if you guys are so ready for the paper tomorrow. Double thumbs up. All right. So, as we with Dr. Kwan today, Dr. Kwan has shared of what you should do during these last 24 hours. Make sure you have everything needed for the examination ready and spend time answering the questions wisely. You do not want to spend too much time on one question, but then you will have less time for the more important question that will give you more marks. So we don't want that to happen. So be ready, dan saya ucapkan selamat maju jaya buat rakan-rakan, bukan setakat di rakan-rakan di studio bersama-sama kita daripada SMK Vivekananda dan juga Victoria Institution, juga kepada semua calon-calon STPM 2020 yang akan menduduki kertas biologi pada esok pagi, iaitu 11 pagi ya Dr. Kwan.
Yes.
Diharapkan apa yang kita kongsikan hari ini telah anda catat dan anda telah bersedia secara mental dan fizikal untuk hadapi kertas peperiksaan ini. Baiklah, kita ingin ucapkan terima kasih banyak-banyak kepada Dr. Kwan. Thank you so much for today's sharing. I think I learned a lot, even though I'm not the one who's taking the paper tomorrow, but it feels like I'm with them. So my spirit, my semangat will always be with you guys. So I wish you guys all the best tomorrow. Okay? Alright. So, terima kasih banyak-banyak kepada semua yang menonton. Jangan ke mana-mana kerana episod selepas ini untuk Road to Success akan berdiskusi ataupun berbincang mengenai subjek pengajian perniagaan bersama Abang Azhar Hilmi kita. Apa agaknya yang mereka nak kongsikan untuk episod seterusnya? Jangan ke mana, teruskan menonton DidikTV KPM. Saya Nisa K. Kita jumpa lagi. Assalamualaikum. Bye. Bye-bye kawan-kawan semua. Bye.
DidikTV KPM.
Salam sejahtera. Nama saya Kartiweni Manikam, ibu kepada Baradan Saravanan, calon STPM 2021 dari Sekolah SMK Vivekananda Brickfield. Saya berharap supaya Baradan dan rakan-rakannya diberi kesihatan yang baik sepanjang peperiksaan STPM dan dapat menjawab soalan dengan lancar. Semoga anak-anak semua diberi kejayaan yang cemerlang. Selamat maju jaya.
Assalamualaikum, saya Nuriha binti Mahmud, ibu kepada Nur Syamila Alia, calon STPM 2020 dari Sekolah Vivekananda. Saya berharap anak-anak dikurniakan kesihatan baik yang berterusan dan diselamatkan perjalanan mereka ke Dewan Peperiksaan serta dilindungi dari halangan dan rintangan. Semoga anak-anak semua diberi kejayaan yang cemerlang.